You're listening to the 10-minute podcast challenge that will prove every place is the same. Welcome your host, the irreverent, the cosmopolitan, the wicked, Daniela Vlaskalic.
Hello, and welcome to Every Place Is The Same. I'm thrilled to have my guest today, Karen Parker. Hi, Karen.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Now, Karen, you have spent some time in Sheffield in the UK. You grew up there, is that right?
I lived there till I was 6, yes.
Okay, you've also had some time in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, is that right?
Yes, correct.
Now, Karen, would you say that these two places are the same?
I would actually say they're very, very different.
Very different?
Yes.
Interesting. Well, today on Every Place Is The Same, we are going to prove that Sheffield in the UK and Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia are, in fact, the same.
Okay.
Great. So why don't you tell me a little bit about Sheffield?
Sheffield is in Yorkshire, England, so the northern part of England. It's a steel town, so blue collar. Went through a pretty big depression in the 80s, or late 70s, 80s, obviously when Margaret Thatcher was running the country. And that's why my family immigrated to Canada.
What's it look like?
Rainy. A lot of rain, on the outskirts, lots of huge moors and hills, lots of little tiny windy streets and matching houses. The downtown had a huge market, Castleton Market, that I would go to with my grandma, my nana, sorry. Lots of little corner shops, and you think of Coronation Street, that's kind of, that's in Manchester, but it's kind of very similar to Sheffield.
Okay, now tell me about Kuala Lumpur.
Okay.
What does it look like, feel like?
It felt congested, felt very smoggy. You would blow your nose at the end of the day and it would be pitch black. People would ride around on little scooters with things tied around their faces so that they wouldn't be inhaling. You could literally see the smog. It was a mix of old and modern. For example, lots of open-air markets next to Kenny Rogers Roasters and a Starbucks, which was very weird.
What's a landmark in Sheffield that you can talk about?
I would maybe say Castleton Market? Yeah.
So the market. And you talked about there being some markets in Kuala Lumpur.
Yes, yeah.
A street market as well?
It was like a big open-air market in like a big square. And you would go and there'd be all sorts of goods, like anything from like knockoff Gucci purses to like sweaters and things like that. And you would go and you would barter.
Are you a market kind of person?
I think I am, yeah.
So you like to spend time in markets, whether it's in Sheffield or in Kuala Lumpur?
I do, yes.
Are you in the market?
For?
Anything in particular?
Maybe.
So you called Sheffield a steel city?
Steel town, yeah.
Or a steel town. Did you notice any steel in Kuala Lumpur?
Sure. I guess a lot of their buildings, like the newer buildings, had steel and glass. The two towers there that they have the walkway across.
The Petronas Towers.
Yes.
Probably a lot of steel.
Probably a lot of steel,
At one time, they were the two tallest buildings in the world.
They were, that's correct.
So I imagine that they would need a lot of steel.
Yes, probably.
Did you go up to the top of the Petronas Towers?
We tried several times, and we just kept missing. The times were all wrong because we were doing shows there, so we had to fit it in around our show schedule. But I stood outside and I looked up at them.
Well, they're very tall.
They are, yeah.
Now, Sheffield is one of the greenest cities in Europe. There's more trees per person than any other city.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Now, did you find that it was green in Kuala Lumpur?
Not so much in the city itself, the city center itself, but I would say on the outskirts, for sure, very lush greenery, absolutely.
Very lush?
Yes.
Do you think it's easy being green?
No, I think it's probably quite difficult.
What's a landmark that you visited or saw in Kuala Lumpur that wasn't the Petronas Towers?
The Batu Caves. We went there.
Tell me about those.
It's a religious a location where they hold a religious ceremony once a year, and you climb up hundreds and hundreds of steps straight up to get to these caves, and then you walk into the cave. But it's like almost like an empty volcano. The ceiling is open. There's greenery coming all down, monkeys everywhere, and beautiful, elaborate shrines.
Excellent. So there was a lot of nature as well as religious icons in that area.
Yes.
Now, in Sheffield, tell me about some landmarks there.
There's the big stadium that they played. I'm trying to remember what the name of it was, where they play football. Oh.
Actually, the oldest football club was the Sheffield FC.
I did not know that.
And football is one of the most popular sports in Kuala Lumpur.
Yes, I believe that's very true. Oh,
Similar,
I see what you've done there, yes.
Have you ever been snookered?
Oh, maybe one time in university, but...
Do you want to tell us about that, or is that for a different podcast?
That's for a different podcast.
Now, the World Snooker Championships happen every year in Sheffield.
Oh, yes, big snooker players, yeah. My dad used to be on a team.
Do you play snooker?
Oh, God, no.
No?
No.
Now...
I don't play well with balls.
So playing badminton in Kuala Lumpur, where they have the championships, wouldn't be your thing either?
Oh, I love badminton. I'd much sooner play badminton than snooker.
The weather, Kuala Lumpur.
What was it like? It was oppressively hot, exhaustingly hot, draining. You can feel the air. It was.
So what did you wear?
Very humid. A lot of tank tops and shorts, or like loose-fitting dresses.
So you stripped down?
I stripped down, sure, yeah.
Now, the Full Monty takes place in Sheffield, is that right?
Yes.
Now, would you say those men also stripped down?
Oh, yeah, they did. They went the full Monty.
They certainly did.
Yeah.
So, it's intriguing, isn't it?
I would never have connected the two together.
Let's talk about carols.
Like Christmas carols?
Yes.
Or the person carol?
Do you sing Christmas carols?
I sing some of them, I guess. Yeah, I enjoy Christmas carols. It's probably the only thing I like about the holidays.
Is there any verses, Christmas carols, that you can think of at the moment?
Good King Wenceslas.
Do you know a person named Carol?
I knew one, yes. She passed away. But we weren't close.
Okay, so there's a lot of famous musicians that come from Sheffield. Do you know any?
The drummer from Def Leppard grew up apparently down the street from my nanan. Who else? Yes, there's lots of them. Who else is from Sheffield? Oh, Arctic Monkeys.
That's right.
Yeah.
Joe Cocker.
Joe Cocker, that's right, yeah.
So tell me more about monkeys.
Monkeys are...
in Kuala Lumpur.
Oh, in Kuala Lumpur. Well, I was actually just telling a friend how I was just chased by one, because I made eye contact.
Would you have been chased by an Arctic monkey if you had made eye contact?
In Sheffield, it's entirely possible, but most likely I would have been chasing the Arctic monkey.
Markets, steel, football, or stripping down. Karen, I want to thank you for helping us prove that Sheffield, the UK, and Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia are the same.
Well, thank you for opening my mind. The world is a very small place.
It certainly is.
You just listened to Everyplace Is The Same, hosted by Daniela Vlaskalic and produced by Drumcast Productions. Leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and follow us on Instagram at Everyplace Is The Same. Until next time, enjoy your travels.